Welcome back, everyone, to our Dubai Expo 2020. You're joining me, Ben Ibrahim, the Master of Ceremonies moderator, and in this case, virtual host for this wonderful event right here at the Pavilion Building in Dubai. Don't forget, this week is all about the startup and investment focus, and we are going to be showing the world Malaysia's startup ecosystem and how we can grow together. So that has been the theme of this morning's session. Today has been our first day. We had our official opening ceremony this morning. And then after that, at about 12:15, Fiza Ghazali, the CEO of Cradle Fund, Sdn Bhd, presented her keynote address. And right now, we have a very, very special speaker because now, before I say anything, let's just say we use this word every day. Well, most of us do anyway. So can anybody guess what that word is? All you virtual people out there, I'm talking to mainly a virtual audience. You can leave it on the comments right there. Well, let's just say it's the word grab. That's right. So shortly on our screen, we will have Ms. Cheryl Goh, Founding Marketing Officer of Grab, to deliver the third keynote address of today. Cheryl will be speaking about her journey with Grab and how a homegrown Malaysian startup grew into Malaysia's leading super app. And don't forget, this company was also funded by Cradle Fund Sdn Bhd. So Cheryl, thanks for being here. A lot of us are keen to hear your story, the Grab story. Over to you for the Grab.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Cheryl. As Ben said, I run marketing and sustainability for Grab. And today I'll be speaking about our journey and how the company how the company has evolved over the years from when we were a tiny startup that nobody knew about to the present day. I joined Grab back in 2013, and this is what the app kind of looked like back then. And we were known as My Taxi. And as you can see from the homepage of our app in 2013, we only did one thing, which was we got you a taxi, right? And when I joined, we only operated in one country, which was Malaysia, and we only operated in Klang Valley and had about 3,000 drivers, which at that time felt like a really big deal. And when I was interviewing for this role more than 8 years ago, not once did our founder and CEO, Anthony Tan, not once did he ever invite me into the office for the interview. And it's only after I joined, I understood why. And the reason is because our office was actually a storeroom of another company. And if you look at this picture, the furniture was all mismatched because we didn't have money to buy it ourselves. This was all like donations from his friends and his brother and his family and stuff that we brought to the office. So, we came from really, really humble beginnings. And the other rookie mistake I made when I joined My Taxi was not asking the size of their marketing budget, which was humbly very small, or in other words, close to none. So in the early days of Grab, I also doubled up as the company photographer. I did a lot of the early stock photos for the company. I was also on the ground every other weekend. I was pretty much the sales promoter, the lead sales promoter for the company. And I was even a talent in one of our ads because we didn't have money to pay for talent. So I always tell people, you work for a startup when you write your own copy for ads, when you take your own photos, and when you are a model in your own commercial, right? But luckily for me and for Grab, my modeling skills kind of paid off. And today, that humble Malaysian company that only did one thing, which was taxi booking, has scaled into what is known as a super app, one that allows you to order food, order groceries, your essentials, deliver packages, provide healthcare services, buy tickets, and get all kinds of financial products and services. So we've come from very humble beginnings to where we are today. So allow me to play you a video which will hopefully give you a sense of our business today.
Southeast Asia is a place brimming with ambition, but also limitations. Millions face challenges in their everyday lives. That's why we've created the Everyday Everything app. A platform that's creating new possibilities for millions of people to thrive. Just like Alicia.
My Jolly Chip serve many food like sisig sarada. Jolly Chip is very traditional. And because of the Grab technology, we can reach out so many people, not just in Makati, but everywhere. Now, I have new sets of regular customers that I have never seen. Because my business is better now, I can take care of my family, especially now that I have my grandchildren.
Now that local restaurants can reach more customers, Grab Food is helping to level the playing field. But sometimes, the obstacles aren't to do with money, but independence.
I was a very active person. I played soccer, I played golf. When I first got stricken by stroke, I just found myself useless. And my wife has to carry the role of the single breadwinner in the house. I just can't let her do it. I have to get back up again and do it for my family. And with Grab employing people like me, it gives me a chance to prove to the rest of the world that I don't have to depend on anyone else to move around.
And Mokhtar's not the only one proving that you can overcome what life throws at you. Rudianto is one of the 100 million unbanked we'll be helping access the digital economy by 2023.
Sebelum saya punya rekening itu, saya simpen di laci mungkin. Ada sedikit kewaswasan juga, takut diambil, belum kenal yang namanya digital gitu. Dan itu Grab memberikan solusi bahwa Grab bisa memberikan rekening. Saya bekerja bersama Grab itu udah 4 tahun. Saya kumpulin tuh, alhamdulillah saya sudah bisa bangun rumah. Saya bisa cicil mobil. Setelah itu cita-cita saya menikah.
And there are thousands of other people and businesses well on the way to reaching their dreams. One such business is Piss Shock Super.
We start as a small outlet in Makassar. In Jakarta, if you want to expand your business faster, it will be expensive. A lot of small business struggling. There are lack of support, financing, infrastructure. Grab Kitchen provide you with the facility, kitchen, utilities, payment gateway. With this kind of support, within 1 or 2 months, I already expand my business more than 5 outlets.
With Grab Kitchen, small restaurants are popping up and expanding across the region. But some problems, like waiting for hours to receive medical advice, require a new solution, and Grab is working on it.
In my personal experience, when you go to doctors, you take your queue number as early as 6 in the morning, you can easily get your turn at 1. Grab Health is a platform where you can have access to trusted and reliable medical information and get your medical supplies to your doorstep. Our vision is to have one private doctor in every family.
Southeast Asia is made up of over 641 million people. And to Grab, that's millions of reasons to never stop empowering them with the Everyday Everything app.
So today, Grab is the leading super app in Southeast Asia. We operate in more than 400 cities across 8 countries. We have more than 25 million monthly transacting users. And we are the largest transportation platform, having served billions of rides to date. We are the leading fintech player with 6 e-money licenses across ASEAN, and the leading regional food delivery service, all in just 9 years. So, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how did Grab scale so quickly? And it would be impossible to answer this question without saying, definitely there was a lot of luck and good timing involved. But on top of that, I'd like to just share some factors that I think contributed to our success. So the first of which is that, as a company, we've always been very rooted in our mission, in our purpose. And in the early days, our mission was really simple, right? It was to make taxis great again, And today, Yeah, what that meant was we wanted taxis to be fast, safe, and certain, which today really might not seem like much, but if you ever lived in Kuala Lumpur, you'll know what a pain it is to try and get a taxi. Firstly, you'll have to stand in the heat or in the rain at the side of the road, trying to hail a taxi down. You'll then have to haggle on the price. And sometimes it didn't feel very safe, especially if you're a single female traveling alone. And that's the reason why we started in the first place. And, you know, this was the headlines back then. We like to put Malaysia on the map, but this was for the wrong reasons. We had such a broken taxi system that we were voted as one of the most hated taxi services in the world. And because it was so broken, because Malaysians and tourists and expats alike hated it so much, our mission was something that resonated really well, that people could relate to, that even us as users, we felt very strongly about. And having that strong mission, having that strong purpose, really allowed us to leverage on that in many areas. One was definitely in terms of partners, right? I mentioned back then we didn't have much money. And because of what we were doing, Maxis, which is a local Malaysian telco, decided to help pay for our launch. We also managed to hire people who were very passionate in our mission, in what we wanted to achieve. And our early team is undoubtedly the reason why we're here today. This picture was actually taken in 2014 when we launched Singapore. And 70% of the people in this picture are still with Grab until today. And because of the mission that we had, because of our clear purpose, we also had a lot of media attention and love. So today, of course, you know, our as a business, we do much more things. So our mission is much broader, and we wish to impact more people across Southeast Asia. So we recently developed a document which is actually available publicly if you search for it, which is called the Grab Way. And it lays out our mission of creating economic empowerment in Southeast Asia and how we believe we can achieve it. We have a lot of things that we still need to do, but I think being very clear what we want to achieve and what's our mission ensures that we can stay focused and stay true to our cause. So at Grab, we operate based on the 4 H's: humility, hunger, honor, and heart. And what they stand for is just having the humility to know we're not the smartest in the room, the hunger to work harder than anyone else to outserve our consumers, honoring our partners by going on the ground and fulfilling our commitment to serve them, and having the heart to keep serving our communities better. This is really what drives us today. And I think culture is what makes Grab uniquely Grab. The other factor that I think that was very important to Grab's growth is the fact that from very early on, we decided to scale across Southeast Asia. When Grab and Anthony started, when Anthony and Hui Ling started Grab, the idea came about in a business competition when they were both in Harvard Business School. And they ended up being runners-up for that competition, not winning it. And the main reason was because the judges felt that Malaysia was just too small of a market. So very early on, the judges said, hey, look, if all you're thinking about is Malaysia, then this isn't a winning entry. And that was honestly some really, really good advice. So Grab has been focused in Southeast Asia since our founding. Southeast Asia is not only our home, it is also a region with immense potential. And some say it's the next China. And you know, here's why, right? Firstly, you know, we love tech. And with a population of 660 million people, Southeast Asia is twice the size of the US. We're also a very young population, very young demographic, and where close to half of the population is under the age of 30. And in Southeast Asia, we love our phones. Smartphone penetration rates are as high as 68%. And we spend 8 hours a day online, which is significantly higher than the global average of 6.9 hours. Secondly, you know, the region is still in the early innings of digital transformation, right? So for example, online penetration for food delivery in Southeast Asia is only 12% versus China's 21%. online penetration for on-demand mobility is 3% versus China's 12%. So there's still a lot of headroom and lots of catching up for us to do in the Southeast Asian region. So when you look at Grab's history, our journey started in 2012, and that's when we launched our first taxi service in My Taxi in Malaysia. And in the next 2 years, what we did was we scaled across Southeast Asia. So in 2013, we launched Singapore, Philippines, Thailand. In 2014, Indonesia and Vietnam. And I think understanding Southeast Asia better meant that we could launch a lot more services that were relevant to the local markets. We started with just taxis, but shortly after, as we understand Southeast Asia better, we launched cars, we launched bikes, we launched Grab Express, which is logistics, and towards 2018, after the acquisition of Uber's business in Southeast Asia, we launched our delivery business. So, I think that initial failure, that initial, someone saying that, hey, Malaysia is not a big enough market was very crucial for us because it really made us scale. And I guess the other thing is for us is beyond just scaling across Southeast Asia, I think what's also important is our approach. And our approach has always been about being hyper-local. And what that means is just this, right? A lot of people imagine Southeast Asia as this big block of countries which are very similar, but we're not. We're not homogeneous in any way. There is a lot of nuance and intricacies and pride, in all the different countries that make up Southeast Asia. And so when we launch across the region, we take that into account and very, very hyper-local in the way that we do our marketing campaigns. We're very focused on having on-the-ground teams that are led by locals and strong local leaders. And I think this is also reflected in the way that we build our tech products. Our products need to be able to scale regionally, yet are flexible enough to be optimized locally, sometimes down to individual districts in our 400 cities. And we're able to do this in a quick and agile way. Country and city heads are able to change the way the app looks based on what's relevant in that specific area they're operating in. And it's not just the way the app looks. We also, the services that we launch in every market is also very different based on local nuance. So for example, just in transportation alone, in Singapore, we're primarily serving through cars, in Indonesia, primarily through bikes, and in Cambodia, primarily through tuk-tuks. So what we launch on the ground is also very, very different. And another good example of how we're hyper-local is even in the way we rapidly innovate. So recently in Vietnam, just overnight, the government imposed very harsh COVID lockdowns, restrictions, which really limited merchants and drivers because there were very tight and limited delivery zones, very tight operational hours, and a lot of other restrictions. And within less than a day, we came up with a unique, innovative solution that allowed our drivers and our merchants to continue to be able to operate by working with the government to deploy QR codes that allowed the government to identify who are the drivers and allow them to move within a certain zone. So I think our ability to do that is only possible because we continue to invest in a very scalable platform, but that also allows hyper-localization. The other thing that I think is very important to Grab and to our growth is the super app strategy, right? And at Grab, when I say super app or when people imagine super app, they imagine as one app. But actually for us, we have 3 super apps. One is for our consumers, the one that you guys, if you're a consumer, you always see this. It allows you to do many things, allows you to access everyday services. We also have a super app for our driver partners, and this is how they make, how they receive jobs, how they earn a living, how they improve their lives. And we also have an app specific just for our merchant partners. And these 3 apps, they are what make up the Grab super app. So it's not one app. So, like on the consumer side, we started from really humble beginnings, starting with just mobility or transportation. We quickly evolved to have deliveries and other financial services. And what we find is that, when the magic of a super app is just that, when we launch any new service, people can easily know about it because they keep accessing one app. And what we do find is that retention rates are a lot higher when people use more than one service available to Grab. Similarly, on the merchant side, our merchant tools started out to allow merchants to go online to sell food. But over time, we built out additional capabilities like analytics, like marketing services, like loans to help businesses grow their business. And as a result of that, we're seeing like 43% of our food merchants, they're seeing like higher returns because of our advertising solutions. And lastly, we also have a one-stop shop for our drivers, and maybe the best way to illustrate how the super app works, especially for the drivers, is maybe just to show you a quick video.
Welcome to Southeast Asia, a place where everyone can have access to income opportunities because of Grab. Before Grab, 46% of our driver partners were not working. We're proud to have changed that. Grab driver partners don't just do ride-hailing. They can also deliver food, groceries, you name it. To better illustrate how they earn with Grab, let's follow Agong on a typical day as a Grab driver. Agong starts off each day by putting on his safety gear. When ready, Agong would turn on the Grab Driver Super app to access his booking planner. This feature has two benefits. Agong gets to choose any job he wants, and he also gets to plan his day better by accepting advanced bookings. This morning, Agong decides to focus on serving commuters during the morning rush hour. To maximize his time efficiency on the road, Agong uses Grab Maps. This way, he gets to complete more trips. As rush hour slows down, Agong stops for a refuel, which he would pay for with his Grab wallet. He also takes 15 minutes for a quick bite, which he can also pay for with that same Grab wallet. While eating, Agong takes the opportunity to check on the status of the loan he recently applied for through Grab to pay for his brother's hospital bills. Through our proprietary credit scoring technology, we can determine the amount of loans drivers can take based on their average earnings over a period of time. To ease their burden, drivers can pay off their loans through small automated deductions from earnings each day. Since 2018, we've been dispersing loans to our driver partners who need a little extra help. As lunch hour begins, Agong makes time to complete several food deliveries. To make full use of his time, Agong uses the Shift Zone, another helpful feature in the Grab Driver Super app. While drivers take on batched orders to maximize their time on the route, Shift Zones help allocate orders within nearby delivery locations. This helps improve time efficiency for drivers and reduces cost per delivery for Grab. Saving on time and cost is good for consumers too. Shorter delivery times, more affordable deliveries. After the lunch rush is over, Agong decides to switch to other deliveries. Delivering gifts for GrabMart, fresh produce for Grab Supermarket, and e-commerce orders for Grab Express. As the evening rush hour begins, Agong completes more ride bookings. When it's finally time for Agong to head home, he switches to My Destination, a feature that allows him to accept one last ride booking headed in his direction. And so, after a productive 10-hour shift, Agong makes it home in time for dinner with his family. Before calling it a night, the hardworking Agong turns to Grab Academy, a dedicated training portal for our driver partners, which he again accesses through the Grab Driver Super app. We're inspired by millions of partners like Agong. Their stories remind us daily of the Grab mission, creating economic empowerment for everyone in Southeast Asia.
So maybe in summary, our super app enables our users to access all our services and the Grab ecosystem through a single app. New services can be easily marketed to existing consumers So for example, we started out with transport, but as we started to move towards deliveries, we were able to help our consumers to move in that direction. And adoption of new services leads to better consumer spend, better engagement, better retention. And this generates more income opportunities for our merchant and driver partners, which in turn improves their retention and acquisition. And the reality is they will go to any platform which gives them the most value. So this in turn creates wider selection, faster delivery times, and an overall better consumer experience. This is why we have such deep conviction in our SUPERAPP strategy. It really helps us offer a better user experience, reduce our cost to serve, and improve our business resilience. Lastly, I think, what makes me Grab is known for many things, but I really believe what makes me most proud is what we can do at scale when it comes to social impact. And I'm very proud to share that today, we've empowered, 2 million merchant partners, more than 5 million drivers across Southeast Asia. And 46% of driver partners at Grab didn't have any job before joining the platform. 33% of Grab Group merchants came online for the first time because of the Grab platform. We recently released our first ESG report, which reflects our commitment in ensuring transparency and accountability to our commitments. And in this report, we talk about 3 key focus areas to make a net positive impact on society and environment. The first thing that we want to do beyond just creating income opportunities is we also want to double down on our partners' welfare by providing upskilling and training programs. Last year, we trained over 1.7 million driver partners through various partnerships with companies like Microsoft and MasterCard to equip them with better skills. In fact, one of our driver partners who trained to be a software engineer and completed that bootcamp is now a full-time employee of Grab in our development team. Secondly, we also want to focus on creating the safest and most trusted platform for everyone's daily transaction. Grab was founded to solve safety issues, and it's something that we hold very close to our hearts. We focus on things like managing fraud, cybersecurity, and data privacy risks. We are also focused on transport safety, and in certain countries, before any rides can occur, we require both the driver and the passenger to go through a selfie verification before they can use our platform. And during the trip, our platform tracks for any unplanned stops, deviation, and other driving behavior that are early indicators for something potentially going wrong. Finally, we are committed to reducing our environmental and carbon footprint. We've given our consumers the option to reduce their use of disposable utensils by opting them in automatically to not receive any during delivery. And in fact, this has saved over 300 million sets of single-use utensils since 2020. This year, we also launched a carbon offset feature that allows consumers to contribute to forest restoration projects across Southeast Asia with every ride. And we have also launched a service that uses only EVs and hybrids in Singapore called Just Grab Green to further reduce our carbon footprint. Some of these numbers sound, kind of big, but I think what makes me most proud is that our platform today provides income opportunities for more than 1,400 people with disabilities. And I think that's something that, it's about giving them dignity as well as independence. And this is probably, out of all the things that you do, this is the one that makes me most proud.
Saya sedar dilahirkan hidup sebegini takkan mudah. Selepas itu, saya berkahwin dengan seorang lelaki, keadaannya juga macam saya. Kami tidak mengharapkan belas kasihan, kami inginkan kebebasan. Jadi, bila kami mendapat peluang untuk berdikari, memanglah kami akan mencapai peluang itu. kehidupan saya tidak selari dengan orang biasa. Jadi kami berusaha keras membeli sebuah kereta dan bekerja siang ke malam bentuk kehidupan di mana saya boleh menjadi diri saya sendiri. Sekarang saya gunakan kekurangan saya ini sebagai peluang untuk menghantar orang ramai ke mana-mana destinasi yang ditujui. Bila saya menghadapi cabaran, itu adalah sesi pembelajaran saya. Saya rasa kelemahan saya adalah kelebihan saya.
Well, there are many stories like this. I think Sidi's story really inspires me the most. And it's because what happened was she saw a billboard of another Grab driver who was disabled and earning an income through Grab. And at that point, although she's never driven a car before and didn't have a valid driving license, she decided, this is what I want to do. I am somehow, although someone that has never driven in my life, going to figure out how to drive, how to get a driver's license, and then go out and get an e-hailing license. And I think that really speaks a lot about her. And, you know, and sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I'm inspired by stories like hers. So, you know, that is really truly the essence of the Grab story, believing in the impossible with the hope of a better future. That's all I wanted to share today. So thank you for your time, and back to you, Ben.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that very, well, inspiring, insightful, and very, very much giving the Grab story a lot of color. We've still got a little bit of time, so I'm going to take advantage of that. We've got some time from you because I know it's hard to grab your time, no pun intended, because you're a very, very busy person traveling from Malaysia to Singapore. And I think when the borders open again, God willing, you'll be traveling to the whole world and back, not just to tell the Grab story, but very much, you know, really diversify the business, because what you've spoken about today is about diversification, how you change, how you pivoted, and all of the above. So I've just got some questions here for you and the Grab story. Definitely, I mean, the theme that on my questions is about change, not change management, but about change and pivoting and looking for opportunities when other people said, no, it's not going to work. You guys came second. You guys are just thinking of Malaysia. You know, you need to go outside the pond, because our favorite saying in Malaysia is that we are a pond. Okay, like we're a very small pond and there's big fish out there. But before we talk about, I'm sure everybody's dying to know about how you guys managed to pivot in COVID. Let's take a few steps back. I mean, and was there a moment in the Grab history, because you've been there pretty much since day one, that when you get started, you know what it's like, and we're speaking to a startup audience here, that when you get started, it's really challenging to maintain that momentum because sales are not coming in, profit targets are not being hit, projections are not being achieved. You know, you're just like, oh God, I mean, maybe I should, I mean, as a startup, maybe I shouldn't have quit my day job in that big bank or that big corporation or that MNC or government agency and all of the above. Can you tell us some of those stories back? I mean, I like to call it the intangibles back then, about the intangibles of what kept you and your colleagues going.
So I think at Grab, I mean, personally, there were 3 moments that I thought, hey, this is really, you know, like, this is really going somewhere. I think the first one was, you know, that there was one, you know, our office used to be very small, right? So you walk in through a door and that's all of us. IT, tech, customer service, we're all through just one door. And one day, someone knocks on the door and says, someone wants to see you guys. And we walked out and it was a blind man. And he said, hey, I'm blind, I use your app, and right now something is broken. Which is, you know, so I think we have accessibility features that allows you without sight to press on different parts of the app, and it voice over what you're pressing, right? So this was a long time ago when that was like norm, but you know, at that moment, I realized that not only are people using the app, but it's actually helping someone who is disabled become more independent. And I think that was a very moving moment for us to know that it wasn't just an app that people use, but also an app that created opportunities. Because this guy was complaining because he said, now that the app is broken, I can't get to work anymore. I can't book a taxi. And that's why he said, I wanted to show up in the office because I called customer service and you guys didn't do anything. So now I'm here. So I think that was a very big moment for us, or at least for me, that made me feel like, you know, that reaffirmed why I was doing what I was doing. I think, you know, for us, I think the other big moment for me was, you know, when we acquired Uber's business in 2018. It really gave me that feeling like, hey, look, a small Malaysian homegrown company, a Southeast Asian company, can actually take on global world-class competitors and win. So I think those were the two moments that really, that I felt really proud, really happy to be a grabber, and really made me just reaffirm why I'm still at the company today.
Nice. Thanks for that story, Cheryl. From the change word, I'm going to go to another C word, which is confidence. As a startup, as a business, once you get some confidence, you really go, okay, we're onto something here, okay? And we are really on a really good vision. And I just heard a couple of days ago, it was really funny, on the flight from Kuala Lumpur to Dubai, and I'm not making this story up, I was listening to a podcast on the plane of the Emirates airline, and there was a business podcast, and it was about a very successful business owner in the States and how he diversified his business. And he said 3 simple words, which sounds really inspirational, but are the 3 hardest words to do: capital, vision, people. I mean, how many times have we heard the saying, hire the best people, hire the best people? Hiring the best people is expensive, okay? Vision, it's great to have a vision, but it deviates from time to time. Capital, we're always looking for capital. Everybody, whether you're a big one or a small one. So tell us about the tangibles that improved your confidence, not just yourself, but your colleagues' confidence over the years that you said that helped you go from here to here to here, and you were always on the upward trajectory.
So, you know, I think when I started presenting today, I talked about how I spent a lot of time on ground, and it wasn't just me, right? Even Anthony, we did so many events and we were on the ground. So actually, one is just ground truth. When you're on the ground a lot, you hear people and they tell you about your product and service. They tell you that it sucks, or that, hey, I'm using it, but it sucks. So it started with, this thing doesn't work, to this thing kind of works, if only it could work more, to, hey, I really depend on this, right? So I think one was just ground truth, hearing people talk about our product. And you know, like, you know, I remember like, there was this point that we went down for, I think, to half an hour in Singapore, and they made the news. And I was like, we are highly prevalent, right? So I think that was one, just listening to people tell us about our product and service and that they use it. You obviously can look at the numbers, retention rate, cohorts, and all of that. The other thing was, you know, we were very lucky in raising capital. So we raised Series B, C, and D in very close succession. I think we raised Series B 15 million in May 2014, E 65 million in October 2014, and Series D 250 million in December 2014. So actually all of that was done in 1 year. And so we were really blessed to meet investors who believed in what we did, who were the right fit, who kept pushing us. And I think investor confidence was good, right? It gave us sort of like the ammunition we need to grow. So I would say, yeah, I think, you know, talking to consumers, to drivers, looking at our own numbers, and then having that backed by investor confidence were sort of like the indicators for us that we were on the right track.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think the audience is taking some notes at the moment. I've had a few people tap me on my shoulder and say, look, can I speak to Cheryl after this? And can you put me in touch with her? To the audience, physical audience and virtual audience, I will speak to Cheryl about, Cheryl, if it's okay to share your email, and then we'll take it from there, because in terms of your time, it's very, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything. It's just a bit precious and a bit, you know, we have really have to book you. I mean, just to share with everybody, in the preparation for this session, Cheryl and I did multiple WhatsApps, multiple talks in weird times of the day. So, but she made time for us, and that's very respectful of you, Cheryl. Cheryl, look, I mean, from the final C I'm going to go for is challenge. Okay, now I know you get asked this question 10,000 times, and I'm not going to ask you for a 10,000 word answer, but can you give us a three sentence answer or less in terms of what advice can you give startups and businesses out there, like a tangible to increase the intangible. When I say that, look for something that to focus on to improve your business, which will give you the confidence and and to lift the spirits and your drive to keep going to really hit the big vision goals. Can you share with us some antidotes?
You know, I think so I've been with the company since we were 16 people to, you know, maybe 10,000, right? And I think the biggest validation, the biggest joy is when you talk to the people that you serve and you listen to them carefully. And today we do that very much at Grab. It's part of our onboarding process. We call it immersion, where we spend time on the ground and just listen to feedback. I don't know whether there is anything more rewarding than hearing directly from the people you serve, whether it's good or bad. If people don't have an opinion, it's bad. It just means that they don't even care. And so sometimes I'm fine to listen to really negative feedback. It means someone cares enough about what I do, what we do, and wants us to improve, right? So I think, you know, any startup out there, I would highly encourage them to spend a lot of time just talking to their consumers. I know consumer-centric is such a buzzword, but it is very true. We develop products and services to change people's behaviors, to improve their lives. And I think nothing can matter more than just listening to what they have to say.
Look, Cheryl, you've answered that with a C word, consumers. So well done. It's all about the C's today. Look, and another C, Cheryl, your name. So Cheryl, look, it's been great talking to you. I'm sure we can do this for hours and hours until the cows come home and really share not just the inspirational stories, but, you know, the mistakes and the key learnings, as I like to call it, about the business. But we'll be monitoring your business very carefully for inspirational and learning purposes. Thank you so much for your time. I will miss our WhatsApps. I will miss our email. I will be honest with you. But until the next time, Cheryl Goh, from the founding marketing officer of Grab, thank you so much. You be safe. And don't forget to always share the story of Grab.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
They're clapping for you, Cheryl, not me. Yeah? Rafiza says, thank you. Cradle has been very much part of the Grab story indeed. So Cheryl, you take care. Yeah, we'll speak soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, technical team. Bye. Okay, now I need to find a way to exit.